Yes, sir, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Chatterbox pod. Yes. Here my boy, my main man right here. And if you need anything done, this is the guy. What up?
Yeah.
What up?
I already know.
Miguel Matos, aka
Tax Focused them.
Bomb. You hear me? You know what that means. That means you're into taxes, or if you're not into taxes, or you're thinking about doing your taxes, or you got kids that you want to claim for your taxes, this is the guy. What up, man?
I'm that dude, man. That and everything in between.
Yes, sir. I like that. So, quick question. This is the craziest thing of it all. I don't know if this has to do with the president. I don't even think we should be talking about the president or whoever the hell. People keep sending me, my boys, for instance. They're like, yo, bro, can you can you give me 300 or 200 or whatever, some denomination of cash, and I could pay you or sell you? That's crazy. Like, I seen on the internet, I was like, all right, they said they're going to start taxing people or something like that.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on that?
So they want you to give them cash and they would sell you back cash?
Yeah, so I'll give them actual cash.
And you know them? Is this a good
Yeah,
friend?
no. It's like the homies.
I don't know. That sounds a little funny. Huh?
No, but I'm saying as far as like tax purposes, like let's say my brother.
Yeah.
Yo, bro, instead of me having to go to the bank, give me cash, I'll sell you.
There's no problem with that. That's person to person. You know, they're really going to have, you mentioned something about law with that. Yeah, they're going to be able to exclude that for tax purposes. You never have to worry about a tax situation with that and your buddies.
So, I forgot I think the limit is $600.
So right now, this new law that came into play right now this year in 2022, any transactions over 600 are going to be reported to the IRS. That means the IRS is going to know, okay, this person received 600 cash this year from either one or multiple sources. Not only that, but they're going to have it broken down month by month. Part of the thing that I've been preaching for a long time is the gig economy. Really, to gain entrepreneurship and gain financial freedom in this game, you got to take control over your income. The best way to take control of that is to become an entrepreneur, start your own business. Mm-hmm. A lot of people started opening up side hustles. Then boom, the pandemic hit. For many entrepreneurs, it was the bandemic. A lot of people were in the place to make that money because they were in control of their income. But a lot of people who were not in control of their income previously said, you know what? I need to smarten up. I need to start a side hustle. I need to start a business. A lot of LLCs were formed. A lot of people, just started working from home and developed side hustles.
Like
that PPP window came, boom. That shit knocked down the IRS door. They're like, oh shit, we never knew we had so many hustlers in America.
Uh-huh.
But it's like, it is what it is.
So can we can you enlighten us what the PPP is? Because I don't know what it is. I want to know what.
So anybody who was, as I said, I've been preaching entrepreneurship for a long time. If you were in that entrepreneurial position in 2019, when COVID hit, legitimate, I'm talking about you reported on your taxes. This is what you do. It's been a part of the tax code. Nobody's ever going to tell you to not get money in America. Cash is king, even if it's cash, if it's on credit card, no matter what. You have the right to pursue the American dream. The IRS is not going to stop you. Uncle Sam is not going to stop you. Nobody. As long as you pay your taxes, it's all gravy and butter. So PPP come through. A lot of people, hey, I have businesses. Fine. It worked out for a lot of people. But in response, what the IRS is doing now, 1099Ks. Oh, you guys are doing peer-to-peer handling. Oh, all this money supposedly going down cash and in the apps. Hey, now you have to report your Square income, your peer-to-peer income, your Zelle income. And they're just going to make it more where at least the IRS has a basis to say, okay, this person's getting money. Before, it was too much like the Wild Wild West. The IRS, is the last person getting funded. Mm-hmm. Everybody getting funded before in the Senate. Because, everybody wants, not that they want the IRS, but even rich people have an interest in the IRS not having enough money to keep up with them.
Okay.
You can't keep up with a billionaire,
Yeah.
Just like a legal team will take you to court forever. We'll take the IRS to court forever.
Yeah. So the PPP was
So the PPP was a loan to a lot of entrepreneur and business owners, just like other people got unemployment.
Okay.
Well, I'm an entrepreneur. What did I get? PPP.
Okay. So PPP, you got to pay that back? It was
No, it was completely excluded, completely forgiven. In a lot of places, no paperwork was needed to be provided to get it forgiven.
So you didn't need no paperwork for the PPP?
Not really. You after a while, I'd say like the first year, yes, they got hip to it. You know, you had to put it in.
But you needed a business to get a PPP.
Yes, you needed at least an EIN. You could have gotten
I thought I missed out on something,
Yeah.
man. So you needed a business to get a PPP loan.
Yes. And then there are documents in there where they do confirm that you've had tax reporting, such as a Schedule C, saying that you have that independent income.
What is a Schedule C though? This podcast right here is gonna be straight questions because
so you report your income every year, right?
Let's say I do, yeah.
And let's say you independent person.
Okay.
You could be a plumber, or you could be a stripper, or you could be a podcaster. Whatever that income comes through should be recorded on a Schedule C, because that's independent income. Basically, on that form, whatever the IRS does not know of activity, you should report it on a Schedule C.
Okay. So basically, any independent worker or self-employed person are filing taxes under Schedule C.
Yes.
So it's not 1099 or...
Well, some of them get 1099s, but let's say you don't. You still want to show that cash income.
Mm-hmm.
You can do business as on a cash basis.
Okay.
So how do you report that? On a Schedule C. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Income and expenses. That way you only pay taxes on the net. Remember, you should never pay taxes based on the top line number that you bring in. You always pay taxes after your expenses.
So is there any way for me to evade taxes? I'm just playing with you. But I know there's a lot of ways.
Tax evasion is illegal. Tax avoidance is legal.
Whoa, that's tough.
Yeah.
So tax evasion, no go.
Is illegal, yeah.
Tax avoidance
is legal. So,
it's legal.
So as long as you were using legal manners to go around it, you can avoid paying taxes.
So how would I
you defer some of your income is some of the most common ways. A lot of people who have jobs put into a 401k or some type of deferral where they pay taxes later on down the line, or they do other methods where they pay the taxes now and have those gains that are incurred based on that investment be tax-free.
So basically, that's legal.
Yes.
So don't do it legal. Always pay your taxes.
Don't do it legal, yes.
Always pay. So what about paying your taxes late? Can I pay my taxes late?
One of the things that people don't realize, that even as a business owner, entrepreneur, this is still a pay-as-you-go system. Just like a W-2, like you had a job, you get your check every week, and that person has their taxes held out every week. That kind of sucks, right? It's a myth that a lot of entrepreneurs believe that they just pay their taxes once at the end of the year. There's something called estimated self-employment taxes, which are due quarterly. So every 3 months, you should go see an accountant. They're going to take your income. They're going to take your expenses. And they're going to tell you how much you roughly should pay that quarter. It's sort of like a mini annual statement.
So an entrepreneur should do that?
Yes.
Like someone who's independent?
Yes.
What about someone who owns a business?
Yes, because any other income that the government has not been able to tax, even if you're a trader, if you're an active trader and you're making gains, short-term gains, every 3 months you should pony up something to the IRS. At the end of the year, let's say you make 40, 50,000 and you haven't done any estimated tax payments, you're going to owe your taxes. And then you're also going to owe maybe a little penalty. Now, a problem that I get from a lot of entrepreneurs, well, I just made 50,000. I'll pay my taxes in April, or I could pay them by January, which is the correct. But the penalty between January and April is small in comparison. It's probably like 1,000 or 2,000. So a hustler, an entrepreneur is going to say, I'd rather keep that money in my pocket, try to flip it one more time by April, and then I'll pay the penalty. And honest truth, the IRS has a large bark, doesn't have too much bite.
Yeah. So that was crazy. The IRS has a large bark, but not too much bite.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna leave that there because I'll start asking some
As
crazy shit.
you know, as long as you stay truthful and you pay on time, you know, you make your money. There are people that get effed up with the tax code.
Mm-hmm. So I feel like me personally, I never heard of someone saying, "Oh, the IRS audited me. I owe X amount." Like I always hear like Wesley Snipes. Like in a situation like Wesley Snipes. What happened with Wesley Snipes?
I don't recall the case specifically, but a lot of these high income earners, actors, they're independent contractors in a lot of their deals. They get a 1099, meaning someone reports to the IRS their gross amount. And then they have their entourages, their photographer, various expenses, and they probably aren't handling that the best way. They don't have a decent accountant on their team. They don't keep receipts. They don't charge people. They don't issue 1099s. One day the IRS is going to say, hey, you need to defend this position. The IRS is always grossly understaffed, so they don't audit a lot of people. But when they do audit you, you better be able to defend that position. Either pay the taxes or defend your deductions. And if you can't defend your deductions, you're going to have to pay the taxes. After a while, I think Wesley Snipes just fought it too hard and like, yo, just go to jail. Like, yeah.
But
like,
did he go to jail?
I think he did go to jail. Yeah, he definitely did.
For tax invasion.
Yeah. Something with like tax fraud or
how long,
it was an old case.
Do you know how long on average?
A lot of people don't go to jail too often. You know, they just cop out, they'll pay it.
That's crazy. Because I know Fat Joe. This happened with Fat Joe. This happened with... Didn't Fat Joe... Something happen with Fat Joe with taxes too?
No, not that I heard of. And
right?
if it has, they typically pay it.
This is... I think someone paid it for him.
Yeah.
Who paid Fat Joe? He had an accountant? No, someone paid.
He probably paid it. There's many ways you could get out of it.
All right. We're not going to talk about Fat Joe. Shout out Fat Joe. You the man.
There's many ways you could get out of it. There's installment agreements, things like that.
All right, shit.
There's also ways to a way to deal.
So for my platform is for people like us, people who grew up in the hood, people who are not as fortunate as everyone else. So I'm trying to give out some information to them. Like, if you, let's say, a couple of guys are out there doing what they do. We're not gonna say what they do, but doing what they do, they got a couple of dollars put away. What would you suggest them to do with their money?
Invest it.
Invest.
That's
everyone says that. Invest it. So as far as so after that, well, wouldn't they have to pay their taxes on their money?
It depends what are you planning to do. If a guy comes and says he has the goal of buying a home or maybe taking out a loan, maybe you just don't have enough money. And then that's a problem within itself. And you want to make a move like you want to buy a home. Well, if someone's going to lend you more money, they're going to want to know, do you have the cash sources to cover the rest of this loan? The cash flow. Yeah. Cash flow is a big deal.
All right, so cash flow is definitely a big deal. So do you suggest paying taxes for everybody?
Yes, that is the legal thing to do. Any wages earned, you definitely have to pay taxes on it. Even taxes of sin are taxable. Wages of sin are taxable.
So is that new?
That's the Al Capone case. No, that's as old as Al Capone. Al Capone went to jail for what? For tax evasion. They couldn't get him for other things. So even though he was benefiting off of illegal activities, he was still responsible to paying taxes on that. Those illegal gains.
That's crazy, actually. I mean, dude, that's what builds America.
So, you think about it, all these people going to jail, you think if maybe they would just pay their taxes, maybe the feds will leave them alone.
Yeah, so that is not professional advice, but pay your taxes. You go under the radar. Any type of income, there is a line in the tax code for it, whether it's illegal or legal income. So definitely pay your taxes. That's how I live there. Oh, you didn't want it? No. Okay, so we good. All right. How to maintain a business? How would I maintain? Rewind that. How would I start a business?
So the first step that a lot of entrepreneurs come through starting a business is forming their business structure, their entity.
Mm.
Yes, you can go out and make $1 without forming an LLC. So you're right, it's America. Make money as long as you pay your taxes, like we said. But you want to start establishing legal protection for your business. Why? If I make 100K and I pay taxes on my 100K in year 1, and year 2 I make a bad sale and that customer sues me for the money I made in year 1, that's gonna suck, right? Because I already paid taxes on that.
Yeah.
And let's say I use that money to buy a home. She wants $1 million. I'm like, oh my God. So, my personal assets, which after you pay taxes on something, that becomes your legal income. So that's your personal. You want to separate the two. You want to make it, okay, there's a separation between my personal assets and my business, because you are putting yourself out there to the general public. It's advised to form your business.
So how would I separate me from my business?
You either create an LLC or an Inc., INC, corporation or LLC. They're treated differently. There are different requirements. I always tell people, don't go in with the thought of saving taxes, because most people think that's their main goal when forming LLC. Mm-hmm. No, your main goal is creating legal protection and ensuring that you have that veil between you and your business well established and maintained. So can you maintain that corporate veil separation between you and your business? Okay. So compliance is key. If you can't afford to stay compliant, then why are you getting an Inc.? Part of compliance, which many people goes over their head, is something called reasonable compensation with regards to an Inc. I've had people come through, oh, I heard Inc. is the best thing for me. I could, skip on taxes and do all this. Well, you hear about all the good. Well, what about the downsides, negative side? Can you afford reasonable compensation? Can you afford to file 2 tax returns? Because at the end of the day, that Inc. is a completely separate company. Maybe where you belong at is an LLC.
So me personally.
It could be you. It depends on your business. We've got to come down, sit down with an accountant. We'll see your budget. We'll see what your investment is into this business and what type of business it is. And we can best help you decide whether the shoe fits for you as an LLC or an Inc. with an S election. Like I said, if you can't maintain certain properties, then you need to go another route.
All right. So that leads me into my next question. When do I need an accountant? Like, are you an accountant?
Yes, I am an accountant. So throughout the year, yeah.
I'm plugged right here, man. File my taxes and you be my... So tax people are accountants or just you? You're just so happen to be accountant?
It depends on their expertise as well as licensing. Mm-hmm. You have some people that just do taxes, like we just do taxes for personal people, and then you have people that do taxes for business. It all pertains on how large is the scope, as well as your license and credentials, right?
So your license?
Yes, I am an enrolled agent, and that's issued by the federal IRS.
I got federal IRS.
And then you have CPAs, which are licensed by the state.
Are you a CPA as well?
No, I'm not a CPA.
Okay, so can you... what are the difference between a CPA and an accountant?
Well, a CPA is an accountant. They're certified by each state. Each state has their own regulation as to what that CPA is required to maintain his status. So a CPA license from New York may not have the same requirements as a CPA license in like New Jersey or Utah.
Okay.
Because their empowerment comes from each state. Whereas in an enrolled agent, they're empowered by who? The Department of Treasury.
Okay.
Federal IRS. So they're covered in all 50 states.
Okay. So CPA is covered all 50 states?
Per state.
Per state?
Yes.
Bet.
Right.
CPA is covered per state.
Yeah. So it's like having a license that's only effective in the state you're in.
Okay.
Yeah. Like a gun license, right?
Yeah. Can't go anywhere.
Do you have a federal gun license where you could go to all 50 states?
No.
All right, then. Well, an enrolled agent is a license where I could practice in all 50 states.
Okay. So that's, you could practice.
Yes.
You could go.
Yes.
Okay. Because a lot of people, I know, well, I don't know exactly, but I heard that not all taxes, when you're doing your taxes, are the same in every state. Or, excuse me, when you're opening up a business, it's the same in every state.
each business has to conform to that state's laws, wherever you're doing business in.
Okay. So if I open up a business here, it's not going to be the same. I'm not going to follow the same steps if I go down to Texas, go down to...
Correct. There are different requirements here and there. You should be cautious of anything. So we're in New York. I really love that I specialize in New York. If you open up an Inc. in New York, you are excluded from something called workers' compensation. But let's say you open up an Inc. in New Jersey, you must have workers' compensation. So let's say you open up an Inc. and you don't do anything with it. You still have to pay some sort of workers' compensation to the Department of Labor if you're sitting in New Jersey.
In New Jersey.
Yeah, but in New York, they let you get away with at least 2 executive officers being waived from workers' compensation. And cash flow is one of the main things that kill a business. 90% of businesses die within the first 5 years. It's cash flow. What messes up cash flow? Unexpected taxes. You know, when you're in New York, you're dealing with the federal IRS, you're dealing with the state, and you're dealing with New York City. 3 layers of taxes. You know? And back to employees, like entrepreneurs and employees aren't treated much differently. They are, but an employee pays New York City, state, and city taxes. Well, so do entrepreneurs.
I didn't know how important that
And then
was.
they have a bunch of henchmen, because I used to own a restaurant, which are the Department of Labor, the Department of Sanitation. The Department of Labor will come at you hard. The Department of Health comes at you hard.
So you own a
You're
restaurant?
filming here. I used to. I sold out before the pandemic because
Where at?
it used to be on Harlem, 145th, Sugar Hill.
Sugar Hill?
Yeah, 144th Street, right? It's called Hamilton Place, like a little triangle right there.
It was called Sugar Hill?
Yeah. So I'm an accountant, and a lot of businesses, entrepreneurs come to me. A lot of them.
I heard of Sugar Hill.
Yeah, 145th Harlem.
Is it
That's
still
where I'm
called
from.
Sugar Hill?
Less. They called it Sugar Hill back in the days, because the drug was popping then. But
No, but I'm saying that restaurant.
no, it's called Latista.
Batista.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sugar Hill's the area.
Okay. Oh, so your restaurant was called
Latista.
Latista.
Yeah.
It's still called Latista?
Yes, it is still called Latista. One of the old owners is still there. The new owner's there. And they're doing okay. I'm still their accountant, so I'm still very much involved with the business. That's been the best thing. It was a good journey. I was there for about a year, but at the end of the day, for any business, it's gonna be the owner that drives that business. Mm-hmm. And I was not there on a daily basis for the operations to run it in a successful manner. We had a manager there. The manager sucked, in my opinion. So
Boo to him.
So, he drove it his way, his vision. If you own a business, whether it be a restaurant, a podcast, or whatever, you have to be there to drive that business. Yeah. If you do not give that business 100%, it's not going to grow.
That's right.
So you definitely have to be on top of the business.
That's right.
And from an accountant's perspective, good financial management is good business management.
So that answers my questions, how to maintain the business. Not like that dude did.
Yeah.
Definitely not like he did. So did you go to school?
Yes. I went to Mercy College.
Mercy?
Yeah.
Bro?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
My cousin went there too.
Yeah.
What did you study?
I majored in finance and economics.
Finance and economics.
Yeah.
Tax doesn't land in finance.
No.
Nah.
No. So I just kind of, when I wanted to go the entrepreneurial route, if you notice, a lot of CPAs, they're either up in the corporate ladder doing high finance, but if you want to work independent with the general public, most of these people move into taxation because that's what the general public is. So after a while, you come back and you specialize in taxation, and enrolled agents just specialize in taxation from the get-go. So all my focus is on taxation. I help the people. I love it here because I get to help the entrepreneur, the hustler. People who were just like me 5 years ago. That shit gets me open. Helping these guys do what you do in your business. There's no greater feeling than helping somebody who was just like me come up and have their business grow, stay compliant, and getting all the fruits that come with opening a business and operating successfully.
So how long ago did you open? Like, when did you become a business owner or open up a business? Or
I'd
start
say
a business venture?
my first hustle was when I was like 10, I'm sure. But my first official business was my tax business. It's called Thorough Tax.
TheraTax.
Yes. So
Okay.
I started there doing business. A lot of independent tax returns, independent moms, earned income tax credit. We getting 10,000 back on tax returns, all that. I still do that today. That's the bread and butter. Over time, I started another business, which is a non-emergency medical taxi business. That's been a good source of income, which I still operate that today. So that's an extra arm of something I do. That's more passive income now. I've sold masks during COVID. I've invested with Tone. Tone and stocks made a lot of money with Tone. So it's been an incredible journey. Everything about entrepreneurs. For the past 5 years, I've been holding my head. I have not clocked in the past 5 years.
Yeah.
Completely independent.
Which is a blessing.
Purchased a home, maintain my family, live well. There's nothing else that I need.
That's a blessing. Oh, straight off of taxes.
So I guess that was a springboard. Yeah, that's like my bread and butter: bookkeeping, accounting, keeping other entrepreneurs up to date. That's what I do.
So what suggestions do you give people as far as like taxes? How can someone maximize their tax return?
It depends on what level you are, because when you're just an employee, yes, you want a tax return.
You said single mothers.
Yes.
What would they? What?
That's a tough category because they are on a strict budget already. There isn't much available to them, but they do get advantage of things like the earned income tax credit. You see them get 5,000 or 6,000 back. That's a big blessing right there.
That is.
They don't have much to do. Yeah.
5,000 for a single mother.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they come around. That I definitely know the backstories because I built so many relationships, and some people, they are on paper. Like that's your income, and if you're an honest worker, you make 80 racks. That's who you are on paper. You make 40 racks. That's how you are on paper. So money will move you like poetry. So when you speak about that annually with your accountant, if you have a good relationship with him, he's gonna know you like nobody else.
Yeah,
and it's good because then they put you in a position where they can help you.
So when you're an accountant, you're dealing with a lot of people's like finances, like their.
So some clients I have, like you said, like I said, there's levels to it. Some clients I have where I'm engaging with them a few times a month. They're like, yo, I make money. I'm in these losing positions. I do well with stocks. I advise them that way. Other ways is just that, hey, they have a business on the side. They're doing this and that. They may have some disputes with their partners. A lot of times I act as a mediator. A lot of times there's transitions of ownership in the business. So I help figure things out like that. Loan applications, all that stuff. When there's 3 partners, there's 3 different lives involved, 3 different stages,
That I feel like that's tough. Like when you have a business with someone else,
yeah,
and no one ever sees eye to eye, especially bosses just want to be bosses. I want to do this. It's my way, but you're with a business partner.
Yeah.
So you got to come to an agreement.
Yeah.
So your main thing are business tax.
Yes. I do all types. Anything with tax law.
Anything with tax laws. So it's so crazy because sometimes people only think like the month of February. Like I guess that's because people get the returns.
Yeah, like I said, there's levels to it. There's levels for employees. There's levels for entrepreneurs. The first tax day of the year, actually, that I see is January 18th. January 18th is when you owe your 4th quarter estimated tax payments for prior. So the money you made December, November, October, you owe your taxes for that period by the 15th of the next month. So if you have a business, I'm already doing your books, your accounting, closing your books, reconciling everything. That way we make that appropriate tax payment. Why? You don't want to give the government more than too much.
Mm-hmm.
All year round, employees getting back 5,000 or 6,000. Why? That's a tax refund because you've been giving them too much all year long, right? Businesses don't do that. We need the money. We need the money in our bank account.
Yeah.
And that's why you hire an accountant, because you want to keep that money in your bank account. You never want to pay them more than what you're supposed to.
Okay. So a lot of people, I see a lot of people, like a lot of business owners and stuff, they go buy a big old car, use it as a tax write-off. Or like, who talks about it? Grant Cardone. Grant Cardone talks a lot. Are you familiar with him?
Yeah, I've seen some of his stuff.
He talks a lot about like not evading taxes, but avoiding taxes, which is legal.
Yes.
So he talks a lot about that. Yes. And I want to know, how would you go about that on a smaller scale?
There's things you could do to reinvest the money that you're making. So part of what I said, I own a transportation business. If I come at, October, November time frame, I've spoken with my accountant. We've crunched the numbers. We know I've already made $60,000, let's say, for the year. I don't need to withdraw any more money. I've been withdrawing money already. I don't need to that money just sit there and be taxed. I could then go out and purchase another vehicle, which is on the next year going to create me more money. And I don't have to pay taxes on that amount that I just used to buy another vehicle. So you're constantly transforming the way money is in its present form, right? If you're comfortable with $100,000 cash, you should be just as comfortable with a building that's worth more than $100,000. It's just in a different form. And as long as you get comfortable with that, you're able to avoid the tax situation, because you're transferring that money from cash to an asset that in year 2 will hopefully, the intent is going to generate you only more cash.
It's so crazy because you get taxed on your cash that you work for. And then when you go buy something, when you go buy an asset,
sales tax,
you get taxed again.
Yes. So that's why it sucks to be an employee sometimes, because as an entrepreneur, a lot of that stuff is written off. You don't pay tax on that.
So if I go out
now, imagine if you rewrite the word of registration fee, license fee for your dog. Instead of using those words, permits, use the word tax, because a permit is just another tax. A license fee is just another tax. It's a use tax. You want to use that car on the road? You got to register it, right? It's just a use tax. So now when you start adding up every tax, every registration fee, every sales tax that you pay every time you spend $1, you got taxed when you made it, and you get taxed when you spend it.
So, and you
That's
can
a
write
lot
that
of money. As an entrepreneur, you can't. As an employee, you can't. That's why I preach a lot about people empowering themselves through entrepreneurship. That's one of the first most essential keys of building wealth.
So do you feel like everyone in the world should be an entrepreneur?
It does, but to build empires, you do need employees
like everyone just be like, you know what? Start a business. So all right. So do you suggest everyone start a business?
I suggest everybody go through that journey one time. It's not for everyone. You do need the hustle mentality. Yeah. You need discipline. If you don't have discipline, you're wasting your time. You're gonna lose a lot of money. You have to have the discipline and the drive for it. A lot of people come to me and they say, hey, I want to open up my LLC, and they do nothing with their LLC. Hey, I want to do this, that. And we talk for a few minutes. I have an entrepreneurial developer guide, which walks the person through all major business decisions, whether it's an online business or a brick and mortar decision, or a brick and mortar business, helps them make good decisions. Whenever somebody comes to me, I try to empower them, because their success is my success. If they're not successful, I'm only going to get a few dollars off of you this year. Next year, I'm not going to see you again.
Right.
So I want you to be successful long term.
Yes.
All my clients.
Yes.
No matter what stage of the game they're in. So some guys come to me, I don't knock their hustle, but you need to do X, Y, and Z, for you to make a buck. And they don't listen. Or they just don't have it in them to go and do that. Yeah.
So from your professional opinion, from your professional standpoint, what should I do as a podcaster?
Focus on sales, focus on your content, focus on creating every day. Every day you create, you post, and you put it out there. That's what you're selling, the content, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, attract to the people. And stay focused, stay dedicated to your craft, because over time, you will build on top of every tiny milestone you will build on top of that milestone.
I like that. I definitely like that because I want to, as far as my end goal, my end goal, pay my taxes, do what's right, get a crib, like I want to do all of that. I want to experience all of that. But a lot of it has to, of course, it's so important to have your taxes done, have your paperwork done. But to get a crib, you cannot just skip this step.
Yeah, because not everybody's a cash buyer. God bless those cash buyers. Mm-hmm. But if you need some extra money, you want to buy a crib, you have a good down payment, 30, 40,000 down payment, but you need the other 400,000, whatever it may be, you're going to need a bank. A bank is not going to give you money unless they understand that your cash flow is right. It's 10 times harder for an entrepreneur or self-employed individual to get a bank loan than it is for an employee. They love employees because somebody else is cutting your check. Somebody else is responsible to you and paying those taxes and everything else. But when you're an entrepreneur, they know that business is on you, that grind is on you. They're definitely going to want to know that you have a good relationship with an accountant who can speak on your behalf, making sure that this commitment of buying a home and taking out that deposit money does not endanger the business and future cash flow of that business. So make friends with an accountant for sure. I would tell that to anyone who's looking to come up in the legit business.
You're an accountant.
Yes. Or your local tax guy.
So anyone who wants an accountant, needs a local tax guy, this is the man you want to go to. The link is going to be in my bio. But we still got more questions because I need to know.
I could talk money all day. Let's go.
Yeah, money's the thing. I see you got a money hat.
Yeah.
That anyone specific?
There's my boy Frio. He's one of my clients too. I definitely support all my clients.
Okay, Frio? What is that?
Yeah.
Frio, sir.
Yeah.
Shout out to you, Brody.
Shout out to him.
That's
definitely
nice.
Big shout out to House Pizza on 204 in Broadway, another one of my clients.
Okay.
I do a lot of work for a lot of mom and pop. So, every business needs an accountant. Some of these businesses that are on your block, they've been through the longevity. You're like, oh, I wish I had a successful business for many years just like that person. Best believe that person has a good money person on their team.
Okay. Hey, Frio, man, get me over one of those hats, bro. Get me over one of those hats.
That's Rob. He's gonna be this week at
Oh yeah,
he's
gonna be
financially lit.
Okay, yeah.
He's gonna get financially lit.
Just let you know, we are gonna be there February 20th. Coming up, be there. That place is gonna be lit. With so many people gonna be there.
Luxor Lounge.
You going?
February 20th.
He's going. We'll be there.
Financial literacy event of the year.
I feel like everyone should go there.
Yes, if you want to go there, get up close with a person like me, ask some one-on-one questions, or with Tone, who's a options stocks guy, somebody like Chris Capital, who's a marketing genius, as well as very good in credit and other facets of business. And then you got my boy Rinse to Earth, who is an NFT guy now.
Yo, that dude is wild.
Technology guy, so he's definitely got some juice for us.
Man. My boy Arvin, shout out to Arvin. I gotta say it properly because I was calling him Alvin, bro.
Yeah.
I want the first episode. The second episode, I'm over here calling him Alvin.
I call him Rinse.
Yeah, Rinse. Yeah. Hey, that's the homie. But definitely, bro, we talked. All right. So, what's a 1099? I want to know the differences. 1099. What are the?
So employees get W-2s, entrepreneurs get a 1099. Mm-hmm. If I'm doing business with you and I pay you from my business more than $600, let's say I hire you or I hire Alfonso to do some photography work and I pay him over $600, I cut him a 1099.
Okay.
I want to do that because that is a good business practice on my behalf. The IRS says, hey, you pay anybody $600, you should cut them a 1099. I want to be a good entrepreneur. I'm going to cut him a 1099. And that reports to the IRS that, oh, Alfonso's making money. Now, what we mentioned earlier, the 1099K, a lot of these bigger companies that handle credit card transactions or electronic transactions, they weren't required to report those if they were less than 20,000. Now they're required to report those if they're 600 or above. Just like me as a small entrepreneur, paying small entrepreneur Alfonso $600. It used to be required for us. But now it's required of PayPal, Square, all those bigger companies, Airbnbs, who handle more electronic transactions.
Mm-hmm. So 1099 for entrepreneurs, W-2 for employees.
Yes.
So 1099K is for entrepreneurs who are using
electronics.
So basically, people who are doing, let's say I file selling merchandise over the computer, I'm going to be filing 1099K.
Well, whoever's facilitating that transaction, such as a PayPal, Stripe, they're responsible for issuing the 1099K.
Oh, so they would send me a 1099K.
Yeah, they're like Joey received more than $600 of cash payments. We help facilitate that through intermediary bank.
Okay, I'm definitely gonna, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna interrupt the show. If you have a business and you wanna, give me your logo, I'm charging $50 a month.
Boom, put in advertisement income.
Right?
Yep, absolutely. Yep.
I'll put in the logo right here. These podcasts, they're doing numbers. They're starting to do numbers, and you can have your logo put on the cover of my laptop as a little promotion, $50 a month, so I could start up with my 1099K.
There you go. Report that income.
Report that income. It's very important to report the income because every February I'm looking for the tax return, just like everybody else. Everyone's over here.
If you notice, tax season affects a lot of businesses.
Yeah.
Restaurants go dead after Christmas, and they come back to life when everybody starts receiving their tax refunds, which is like March.
Money. Everyone starts spending money.
Yes, after tax season. Everybody done spent their money for Christmas. January, a lot of businesses struggle. January and February, especially restaurants.
Just because everyone's still recovering from Christmas.
People recovering from Christmas expenses, and then they worry about taxes. But when the IRS lets go of that tax refund, it's on and popping.
That shit is
got
crazy.
The hoopties on deck.
That shit is crazy. Yep. So we went over a lot of shit. We talked about all different ways to file your taxes. If you're an entrepreneur, if you're an employee, even if you have your buddy sending you over cash, however transactions you're doing. So how strict do you think they're gonna be on the Cash App and Zelle or what are the?
I think the IRS is cash strapped. I think the only way they're really going to make some money back is through the IRS. I hear that Biden is pushing to get more funding to the IRS. And if they do that, they're going to have a lot more officers to hit the ground running and audit these people. Audit everyone, all small entrepreneurs, because there is money that they do feel they're missing.
How would they do that? They're just going to look at everyone.
Well, they just required everyone to issue a 1099K, right?
But I'm saying, oh, yeah.
That's step one. Boom, line them up. Now they have a basis for saying, okay, this person's getting money. Now Joey received 50 grand this year in 1099K transactions. Before he used to say he only received 20. And we didn't know. We had to take his word for it.
If any.
Example, hypothetically.
Yeah.
Hypothetically. So hypothetically, Joey this year is now receiving a 1099K for 50,000K. Yeah. Now that's your basis. Now tell me, you run a podcast? How many expenses does it take here?
How much am I paying? Or
how many expenses do you have to generate that 50,000? You got a cameraman, you got equipment, boom, boom, boom. They're gonna do a guesstimate. Maybe 20 out that 50. Maybe rough estimate based on our research, because they do industry research.
This was all free.
They guesstimate. Okay, Joey should be netting 20,000.
He loves me. That's free too, man.
Joey should be making roughly about 20,000. Why is he reporting that? If he says he only made out of 50, he only made 5,000 because too many. Something's up with his business. Let's audit him. And Biden wants to fund the IRS. That way, there are more people to audit you. They don't audit you because they can't afford to. So,
to avoid getting audited, how likely is it for someone just like, bro, $600? They want to tax. They're trying to. You need to file 1099K if you're doing anything over $600.
You will receive a 1099K. What that requires you is to report that you made that money.
But per transaction or throughout the year?
Throughout the year.
So someone sends me $600.
One time. Yep.
That's it.
Yes.
So throughout the year, cumulative.
There are ways. PayPal issued statements saying that there's a way you can designate that you paid this person $600 and it was just like peer-to-peer friend lending. But
okay, like friend lending.
Yeah.
So
yes, you can do that.
I gave you $600.
Yes, yeah.
Good looking, bro.
Yeah. But
good.
Let's say you're a sneaker seller and I'm a guy and I'm paying you $600 for a pair of sneakers.
That's it.
Maybe on the back end, I want to make sure that somewhere along the line, I want people to know that I'm trading money for a good in case something happens. You'd be like, nah, bro, don't mark that as a business because just mark it as a peer-to-peer. No, I'm spending good money with you. Yeah. This is a business transaction. This is, you're going to cover yourself, right?
Yeah.
Your own self-interest. So I don't care if it's PayPal or whatever. I may mark that as business because at the end of the day, shit goes hit the fan. Pay $600 for sneakers. They turn out to be fake. I'm calling everybody. I want all my money back.
So the likelihood of the IRS.
Yes, people are going to get those 1099Ks and you should definitely.
I got it.
Form your business so in that way you can take.
So they send it to everyone or just. I'm scared because I got that email. I got that.
They're gonna send it to everyone who gets money. You know, if you get money and you conduct yourself as a business and you say that you're a business, you're gonna get a 1099.
But, anyways,
the best advice I have for you: create your business, create your LLC or whichever business formation fits you, and write everything off. Hold on all your receipts because they do require receipts. 1099, everyone. Be a good business owner.
So I could go to you to create my business.
Yes. I do everything from business formations to payroll to financial statements to financial planning for your business, projections. To closing your business. So, if you have to close your business.
God forbid. But what are the different business? I don't know. It's the LLC.
Mm-hmm.
What are they?
Inc.
So LLC.
Inc.
INC.
Yep. And there's a Inc. with an S election.
So it's going to be INCS?
Yes. It's like sports mode.
So what does that sports mode? Inc. Sports mode. So what does the S stand for?
It stands for the S election. It's a subcategory.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is there?
So it kind of mixes up a bit of the LLC and the Inc. So let's say I own a business and I am a photographer, but my business, the standard photographer on average for filming, let's say throughout the year, they make $80,000. But I own this business and I turn this business to $1 million business. Should I pay myself $1 million for every photo shoot? No, because the average photographer only gets paid $80,000. So part of the ways that I have more options on paying myself out is through the S selection. First, I pay myself as a standard photographer. Although I'm the owner, I pay myself as a photographer. That gets taxed at a certain rate. And then I have the option of anything beyond that standard payment to be paid out as an owner. And that gets taxed as a lower tax rate. So you mix up the way, it's all options, right? LLC, you get paid one way. So proprietorship, you get paid one way. Everything gets taxed one class.
All right, so hold on. Because you just mentioned something that wasn't there.
Yeah.
Sole proprietor?
It's the same thing as it's like you don't have an LLC. It's like.
So LLC and sole proprietor are the same thing?
They're not the same thing.
They're not. Yeah. All right. So LLC, INC, INCS. How about an S corp?
That is an S corp. INCS.
INCS is an S corp?
It's an S corp, yes.
And then sole proprietor?
Sole proprietor, you're doing business without any type of legal separation between you and that business.
All right. So for y'all drug dealers out there.
So if you were to get sued as a sole proprietorship without having LLC or Inc., they're coming after your house. They're coming after your personal bank account.
They're coming after your assets.
They're coming after your assets.
Okay. So how would I cover that? What should I get?
You form an LLC or an Inc.
LLC. So me doing the podcast, I would want to form a LLC.
I recommend the LLC.
The LLC.
I recommend the LLC for people who are not making enough money to cover the responsibilities under an Inc. Because what are the responsibilities of an Inc.? You're going to file dual tax returns. You're going to file owner's tax return and you're going to file the business tax return. That's an administrative cost that you have to pay, right? That's an expense. Can you afford that expense of filing 2 tax returns?
This is good.
You also have to run payroll for reasonable compensation. Can you afford to run yourself payroll, come out of pocket with taxes, send them to the state, or do all this and that?
So people
have inks, and you know what some people do? Funny, reasonable compensation to them is running payroll for $2,000 for the whole year. That's not reasonable. That's not legit. You just slide it under the table. But people get away with that. They're like, oh yeah, I'm doing my, what I'm responsible by running payroll for $2,000. It's bullshit.
Do they get audited?
Sometimes they don't. Like I said, the IRS is severely underfunded. The IRS does. If they audit you, you're more likely to be audited for claiming children incorrectly and having low wages than you are to be audited as a business.
So let's go back to the one that is kind of sketchy. It's kind of sketchy. It's not promoted to do neither, right? But who's to say that they didn't make 2,000?
Well, the IRS does do business. They do have baseline. They have millions of tax returns to compare. So when you fall out the norm, there is a class code business category that they ask you to put in there for your Schedule C. It's like a code. So let's say you're a hairstylist, right?
Uh-huh.
And out of 50 million hairstylists in America, most of them make 40,000. But here goes Joey, the hairstylist, who makes 10.
Good old 5.
Let's audit that.
Let's audit. Just because the average makes 40, but Joey's making 5. Somehow he's not.
And, after a while, the IRS is going to say, whether you're making no money or maybe you're losing money consecutively, the IRS is going to say, hey, this isn't a business. This is a hobby.
It's kind of like thug. It's gangster.
Yeah.
That's really gangster. Like, if you really, 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 really think about it, you do what you got to do, but since you're here in America, you got to pay your dues.
Yeah.
And how's that?
You can never stop.
They're going to take money from you.
Yeah.
Like, the toughest person there is in the world is paying someone else just because you're making money on their land.
Yep.
And that's taxes for you.
Yeah. Property taxes, income taxes, use taxes, sales tax.
So how come
excise tax, fuel tax, labor tax? I be feeling like Bubba Gump out this shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Bubba Gump shrimp. For those who didn't know, this is crazy. And this is Tax Focused M. Miguel Matos. Here with your taxes. You want to do your taxes, get it right. So let's close it out and let's get some advice for the people who want to get in contact with you. It is February, the month of February. Business or personal who want to do their taxes.
So anybody could come check me out. Tax Focused M, hit me up on my DM or whichever other means, or through my business line, Instagram. I help anybody who has a dream. My favorite clients are entrepreneurs, somebody who's willing to grow. I don't want to just hit wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, see you next year. I want to grow with a person. So if you have an entrepreneurial dream, entrepreneurial journey, you need a accountant by your side, a CFO to help you stay on top of your business. I'm the man for you. Those are my favorite type of clients because it's boring unless we're not talking,
Yeah.
I don't want to use you. I want us to work with each other and help each other grow.
All right. And don't be putting 10 babies on your tax returns, right?
Definitely don't claim 10 babies. Don't come to me with that shit.
Man, this is good. Thank you for the information, my brother.
Likewise,
I appreciate you, man. Later, y'all. Chatterbox. We are out, my brother. Gangsta.